Alright, welcome back to Hearts of Iron 3. After a few readjustments to the streaming software, we're finally back with Hearts of Iron 3, our Axis Japan campaign. It is January 1st, 1943, and last time around we were struggling with some convoy and supply issues, which I don't think are completely resolved yet. But we'll try to get on top of that. Then we are dealing with the Soviet incursion into Western China. The Allies we've pretty much thrown out and pushed back across the old borders, except for one province here, which is currently still controlled by the United Kingdom. But I would say we are somewhat on track here. We're also sending reinforcements to Third Army. There is one additional infantry division on the way under Major General Raishiro. So that's being dealt with. Then we are also facing the Soviets in the northeast, where we still have to swallow some territorial losses, but it's not a huge problem on a strategic level. We're holding the front line here. We have mobilized additional garrison divisions to take care of that border. or of that part of the front. Eventually we will of course take care of the losses in territory here. It's not the easiest terrain to fight in, of course, the further north and the further west we go into Siberia. So initially we focused on Vladivostok, which I have to say was extremely successful. That was actually a quick offensive. Then we tried to capture and destroy as many enemy divisions as possible here. Then we advanced on Khabarovsk. As you can see, it's under Japanese control. And now we actually managed to encircle an additional, what are we looking at here? Light armor, cavalry regiments, mechanized support, 4 militia brigades, an additional light armor regiment, 3 infantry regiments, and another 4 cavalry regiments are encircled here. So this again will change the balance of troops along the front line in favor of us Japanese. Of course, the Soviets are trying to break open this pocket. We have one light armored division moving in as a reserve here to defend the pocket encirclement in Berea. The 2 divisions that I have here, the 1st Infantry Division, 7th Cavalry, are well, they're at their limits, not in terms of losses, but they're just exhausted. The battle, I think, is lasting now for... This is one information that I'm missing from the Hearts of Iron 3 battle interface. It doesn't tell you when the battle started. But it's a week-long battle, at least. The rest of the pocket is safe and sound. Actually, we could even consider shifting some troops over, which we're actually doing. And then, of course, we have counterattack going on here. We have a fully organized... We have 2 fully organized divisions here. And who are we fighting anyway? We're fighting Soviet Marine Infantry, Soviet Light Armor, and the 66th Soviet Infantry Division. I think the light armor will make it in pretty quickly, so that should be okay. Then we want to finish this pocket. And then it's winter. Let's check in on the weather conditions here. They're particularly relevant further north, and now it's below 0. Not that much, but we do have some frozen ground, which of course means higher attrition, higher losses. But I'd say overall, yeah, we're pretty much at full strength in all these divisions. So doing pretty well. What else? Right, Sakhalin is still an open issue. We also had Soviets took a base in this island here, a naval station, we can't accept this. We're going to take this back. We have Marine Infantry divisions. They're currently in Southeast Asia. That's actually going to change. We have total naval superiority, at least around the Japanese home islands, in the Dutch East Indies, the Singapore Strait, and along the Burmese coast. So we're not going to let this continue. The Soviet invasion. Now the other project that we have ongoing here is taking Mandalay. The Burmese theater, which theoretically could use some reinforcements. We're finishing the project of taking control of the Dutch East Indies. It's going fairly well. The only problem here is fuel, the transport of oil. We don't have a convoy from Pontianak. I remember this was something we tried to take care of last time. Wait. Yeah, we have the convoys. From Tarkhan. And for some reason the information as to what's being shipped doesn't show up. Now it shows up, okay. So we're shipping... I don't think these numbers up here are up to date. Because here it only says we're producing 1.4 units of oil in our home territories. Anyway, so we'll take care of this as well. And then we had plans originally for the Southern Pacific. But I think before we do much here, we will re-establish control over our island's territories. I think we'll take all of Sakhalin, we'll take back Ostrov. I don't think we'll bother too much with the Soviet Far East. Okay, and then we have some wasted IC to take care of and a bunch of messages that we should look at. Would be nice to get our national unity up back across 90%, and our officer ratio is falling. That will also need some care. Let's go through these messages. Yeah, fuel is low, metal is low. Taxes, and then we have a bunch of units that are in poor supply. The Allies have completed 9 victory conditions. And that's about it. We should also take a quick look at our ally. I believe, no, next to Greece, the only remaining ally, I believe, in the Axis in Europe. Overall, I would say Germany is still on the back foot. Yeah, with Hungary and Yugoslavia not in the Axis, not much is happening. Here we might actually be looking at Germans attacking. And here the Germans lost at least one province. I think they were in control of Breda for most of the time. And that's pretty much what's left of the German fleet. Greece is dealing with some Italian landings. Nothing too serious. The mainland is unharmed. And Germany's on the back foot in Norway. Actually, Norway is being freed by Sweden for the most part. I think Sweden joined the Allies. Yes. Yeah, pretty much everyone is in the Allies now. Axis, small, some weak puppets. At the Comintern even worse. Iran was forced into the Comintern after they joined the Axis and were defeated by the Soviet Union. They're now a Comintern member. Okay, first of all, we'll have to organize taking back control of the north. I think we'll do that with one Marine Infantry Division. We can just run some intelligence reconnaissance missions in the far north. And I think for the spring someone will take care of this. We're also waiting to commission additional ships, of course. Singapore is our new hub in Southeast Asia. And we're, thanks to aggressive anti-submarine warfare, we're running low on submarines. Submarine flotillas that are still deployable, that is. We have a Marine Infantry Division sitting here, and one of our main problems is that we're running out of garrison troops. I'm trying to address this by increased mobilization of Marine divisions. Could start training additional infantry divisions, although we are training them already. We'll have two without a support brigade and one full strength one with a support brigade by the beginning of March. And then we'll have 2 more later on. So we're on January 1st. By the end of January, we'll have freed a total of 9.5, 12, around 15 IC. So let's think about how to invest that IC. I was thinking a light carrier will finish also. This carrier air group is actually for a carrier that's already launched, and this carrier's air group will finish by early March as well. So we need more, we absolutely need more infantry. That's a must. And we have a couple of infrastructure projects that would be nice. Air bases, more industry, more convoys and escorts, that sort of thing. Land-based planes are not a priority. Additional ships could be interesting. Submarines maybe. A submarine flotilla takes 245 days. To train. The techs for submarines are somewhat behind though. We could just try to improve our submarines by researching them. If we look at our submarine flotilla, the engines and the ship construction material doesn't upgrade. Everything else does upgrade, and it does have a big impact. But that would mean researching a few of these naval doctrines, and leadership is not something that we have too much of at this point. So we'll probably not do that. We're wasting 11 IC, 3 more will go into here, that leaves us with 8, and then 15 by the end of January. Total of 23 until the end of January. Manpower is no problem at all, we have enough of that. Let's invest 5 IC into additional infantry divisions without support, however. They will be primarily used as garrison, and by training infantry instead of garrison, I can easily upgrade, or somewhat easily upgrade them to full strength infantry divisions by attaching support. That takes care of 5 IC. For the rest, not exactly sure. Let's go with 1 submarine flotilla initially, and then we'll see. We'll see about the rest. Another thing I would like to train at some point is that's so expensive. Infantry support tanks. We could train 1 additional engineer battalion. How much would that be in IC? It's actually not too bad, so we'll start this one as well. Okay. Then another idea I was toying with is to reduce the number of infantry support tanks in the far south, or in the southwest. We have the entire army group. We have 4 infantry support tank battalions. I think 2 should probably be transferred to the northeast. Especially given that the terrain isn't ideal here. Maybe only later in India. On the other hand, it's not much better further north. Yeah, we'll leave this for the moment, doesn't matter too much. Then we should free our paratroops and our naval infantry. We have 2 naval infantry divisions here. And 2 paratrooper divisions. I think they will, for the moment, at least rebase to the main islands. We'll have to send a covering force as well. That's a pretty large fleet with a hefty penalty. And I'm not quite sure this carrier task force needs 3 light cruisers. Jinsu seems to be older than, say, Abukuma. Although the range is about the same, and Abukuma is even... Well, Abukuma is faster. The stats are pretty similar. It's hard to tell what the difference is. Actually, the stats are worse. For what looks to be the more modern cruiser on the left side. They're fairly similar. Akagi is still somewhat damaged. I have a small fleet sitting here. They are to rebase to Singapore. Actually, we'll have them rebase to Cirebon to cover the transport of this marine infantry division. The third. We have some heavy bombers, which aren't necessarily the most useful here. They're also eating up a lot of supplies here, so we can probably safely think about redeploying them. I think one of the light fighter air wings can also redeploy. And then we could station some heavy fighters further south, maybe, to exercise some air control along the southern coast here of the Dutch East Indies. And in terms of air commanders, we're going to have to do some reassignments anyway. And the close air support. Would be more useful elsewhere, but the problem is a lack of air bases. So they will redeploy to Taiwan for the time being as well. Okay. And I need more transports. So we'll bring this transport fleet south. Because Burma is getting an additional army and an additional core HQ. Then I was wondering whether to liberate some puppets. In terms of politics, we could create Indochina as a puppet and the Philippines. What are we getting from them right now? Oh, they are annexed into our country. We'll hold off on that for the moment. Okay, I'd say we'll unpause the game. The armor division has arrived here. We're leaving 7th Cavalry and 1st Infantry Division. Our allies are moving in here to seal the pocket even more. We have quite a bit of support here, but Manchukuo is unable or unwilling to help. We have rebased our planes. Let's see. Can't attack here. We could start with the spare air assets that we have. We could start a campaign against the Soviets. Not with the light fighters. We'll redeploy the heavy bombers. What about the heavy fighters? What's their range? Their range is roughly 500 kilometers. Okay, they can reach. So the light fighters will go back. They will rebase to Tokyo. And the heavy fighters will rebase to Ostrov. Put the heavy bombers under the Navy HQ for the moment. It's closest Army Group HQ. And then we wanted to take care of our convoys. So we have oil here in this province. 3.2 units per day. But we don't have a convoy shipping it out of Pontianak. Batavia, Yokohama. It says oil. Where's Batavia? Batavia is here. But Batavia doesn't have oil. Okay. So we can untick oil from this one. Now let's see if we can create a resource convoy from Pontianak. Nope, that is still not in the cards. On the upside, we're back at 10 units of fuel. And I was wondering whether the convoy from Rangoon. Yes, it's shipping metal. Now, in terms of supplies, for some reason Vladivostok is our supply hub in Asia. Here the supply depot is in Oosthaven. On Java it's in Batavia. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand how this works, but so far it seems to work. Let's see, we're going to need to increase our officer count. So we'll shift away from out of some of the research as soon as the next project is done. We'll start investing into officer training. For some reason our spy count is still extremely low. Okay, so we have finished defense in depth. Improving our human wave doctrine. Ah, they actually managed to sneak back in. But the attack hasn't started yet. Now it did. We're going to deploy our tactical bombers here for 2 weeks to make sure we can throw them back out. Our fuel situation is stabilizing. And we're wasting IC on upgrades. Okay. Are we though? We're actually close to being at full production. So maybe I need to put a few more units into the production queue. So we can train additional mountain infantry. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we haven't ever actually exceeded our mountain infantry. Or maxed out our training limit for mountain infantry. It's not really a priority right now though. The question is, can we move up from a major industrial power to a great industrial power? We would need a total IC of 200. We can max our IC by researching the next level by another 20%. We have a base IC of 116 and we have total bonus of wait. We have a total bonus of 30, 40, 75.5%. Now here it says I can increase my IC by another 20%, but I'm not sure this is on top of all of that. Or will it replace the 17.5 from technology? Because with that it would only be 2.5% more. So the question is, do I have to build IC or can I just research better industrial production? 116 times 1.575 gives me 182. Now if I multiply this by 1.2, which would represent the 20%, then I would be easily on top of... No, I don't think it's... That's what it is. It's probably going to replace the 17.5. So I would have 116 times 1.6. That only gives me 185. So 200 divided by 1.6 would be, I would have to increase my IC by 9 and research that technology. So maybe we should invest, yeah, well, I think we should continually invest into more IC. By the end of January, we'll free 9.5, 12, 15 IC. That would be an additional 5, so that would be 6 out of these 9. I think we can make this work. We don't really have a cover force for these transports, but I don't think it's necessary. They are traveling in our home waters, basically. And here I'm actually going to split these sub-hunters. I'll run these destroyer flotillas separately, so I can cover a bigger area. It's also a good way to slowly train up a few more commanders. So we'll be the first home islands. The submarine warfare squadron. Not even sure where we have the most issues right now with enemy convoy hunters. From the looks of it, most of our routes are safe at the moment. Maybe we'll dissolve this force and put them into the reserve fleet for the time being. It's the first time we can actually put something back into the reserve fleet. We'll keep this one active so we have some scouting, because it's not too long ago that we're struggling pretty hard with enemy convoy hunters. Okay, we're driving the Indians back. Then we should check in on our pocket. Yep, 2 divisions are running. Now it's the 3rd light armor fighting by themselves. This infantry division is going to take forever. So they might actually break through and open the pocket. And then we have supply issues. So I really hope that Manchukuo is attacking here. We have tactical bombers logistically bombed the inside of this pocket. I'm not sure that's enough. I have my own tactical bombers somewhere, but they're, yeah, 2 squadrons are in Burma. But we are crossing the river, so we have a bridgehead to attack Mandalay. The infrastructure is not terrible, but we're running low on forces. Transports should probably help over here. We have 2nd tactical bombers and 1st, so this will be 3rd tactical bombers. And they will be redeployed to the northeast if it's not too late yet. We'll attack with 1 infantry division just to put another speed bump between the pocket and the Soviet forces that came to liberate the pocket. Okay, and 17th Infantry Division will cross the river as well. So we have more forces on the other side. I will switch commanders between these 2 corps. because our offensive is here around Mandalay, and over here we're actually more about defending right now. We get attacked here, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. We're defending 3 Japanese garrison divisions and 6 Manchukuan infantry, 3 garrison regiments that is, and 6 Manchukuan infantry regiments plus the support brigade. Of course, we're pulling troops away. They will be sent over. Now we have 3 divisions retreating across the river into Jakdoki. We have a counter attack going on with 6th Infantry Division and one with 20th. The problem is, of course, this will open this province unless 9th Infantry Division makes it in time. This battle isn't exactly going in our favor. But we only need to delay time enough for the pocket to succeed. Fuel situation is steadily improving. That's good. We are still low on spies. I can't explain this. We're trying to coup Mongolia. We're also sharing technology with the Republic of China Nanjing. This would free some leadership, possibly. Okay, the attack on Hooder has ceased again. We're catching a few spies, so I think it's them killing off our own spies. Maybe we can tell from the message logs. Run a few missions over Ostrov to see what's going on there. Oh, not interdiction. Ground attack during the day. For about 2 weeks. To see what's going on. We have a motorized... we have a fresh armor division here. They'll support the attack. And one of our more disorganized divisions will cease the attack and reorganize. And we'll send one division back into Khabarovsk so no accidents happen. Wait, we can take an additional port. Let's take this final port and then this final port on Borneo. And there are a few more ports to take. And we wanted to supply an additional army and corps. To Burma. And we're creating additional submarine squadrons from the ones that we're repairing. First, second, third, and 10th. So we'll have, well, it's already called 11th, so why not? And 16th. Okay, I think we're ready for the attack on Mandalay. 31st Infantry Division will lead the attack. 21st will support. Tactical bombers are taking a bit of damage. I don't know what's these heavy fighters, they can actually reach. So we'll use them as well in this capacity. Trying to move forward, but it's rather difficult despite the terrain. Or, no, not despite, but because of the terrain. We're gaining a bit of officer ratio. Okay, so we have narrowed the pocket. So this infantry division can actually stay here. Alright, this one will have to cease the attack. Over here we'll cease the attack. Preserve these divisions. But what we should do is to I'm going to keep all these divisions here in that case. They're now under attack. So as soon as I stop my counterattack here, they try to break through here again, which is a bit unfortunate. The Soviets have assembled quite the forces here. Medium tanks, 1 regiment, 2 engineer battalions, 2 support brigades, 3 infantry regiments, 4 light armor regiments, 2 mechanized support regiments, 1 infantry support battalion, support tank battalion. We'll attack inside the pocket again. I'll pull back 2nd light armor. And I'll use them for an attack into the pocket. You have a second squadron of transports. And we have 2 infantry divisions that arrived here. So they will move across the river ASAP. And another one is on the way. And we have 3 IC to spare. But we're not producing at capacity right now. So we'll hold off on ordering additional projects. But we're going to free roughly 9 IC anyway. Oh, and here the battle has actually, the progress of the battle has actually improved a lot. And we have Mandalay. Nice. I just wanted to probe the defenses here in mid-Kenya. We'll see if we can attack the Soviets here. We're looking at quite a number of Soviet troops. 3 regiments of mountain infantry, 4 cavalry regiments, an engineer battalion, and 6 infantry regiments. And we have improved heavy artillery guns for better support brigades, which means we don't have to research the next project right away. We can put an additional point into officers. We're still fairly low on fuel and metal, unsurprisingly. Okay, so here the defenses are pretty good. So here's what's going to happen. The mountain infantry will stay and 2nd Infantry Division will deploy further north for a possible counterattack. We can already attach it to 19th Corps. This is not a particularly skilled commander. Although not a particularly unskilled commander either. We might want an additional corps as well, eventually, for northwestern China. I'm a bit surprised as to why the Taiwanese sent their troops here. Apparently they don't consider Burma a priority. And I'm debating splitting these transports into 2. Now we're running low on supplies here. I'm going to try to establish a supply convoy to Rangoon. Maybe from Hiroshima. The thing is, we don't have any supply convoys over to the Asian mainland. But we're sitting on 97,000 supplies in Vladivostok. And very little of it is reaching the front right north of it. That's pretty odd. Okay, so here we're on top of things. We're going to supply the motorized infantry here so we can try to take care of this pocket. Oh, and here we have heavy bombers. And we see the port, the airbase. There is a regiment of paratroopers here. They actually air landed on this island. So for spring, the idea is to land in on Sakhalin, take back Sakhalin, all of it, and the northernmost portion of the Kuril Islands. We took Padang, one of the remaining ports here. I would like to have some troops on Java. There's some naval units conducting operations here along the Malaysian coast. So maybe we should send a fleet to investigate. Although maybe not as a huge one like this. This one will be called, we have 1st, 5th, and 8th fleets. Call this 2nd fleet. And we'll send 3rd carrier task force, although this is huge. We'll cover. Oh, we have disbanded. I've actually disbanded the Singapore Naval Yard, I think. We're being counterattacked further north. That's okay. If we can clean up the pocket. Small counterattack taking place on the shores of Cobra Mayor Bay. Not too much of a problem. There is a British submarine flotilla operating around Sumatra. And actually a heavy cruiser. A lone heavy cruiser and Portuguese naval units. We'll have the carrier air groups try to search for this heavy cruiser. The transports have loaded and will sail to the east coast of Borneo. Under the cover of 8th Fleet. And 4th Carrier Air Group has finished and we sank HMS Shropshire, apparently. Okay. Now the carrier task force, the carrier air group, I mean, will deploy to this airbase. And now we have, so I think it was sunk by our carrier air groups. Which we can put back on carrier air group duty. And the carrier air group that just finished its production run should get a good commander. A fleet destroyer type would be great. Tactical bombers, tank buster. Preferably, I don't have to take a commander from a existing naval bomber unit. This is a highly skilled fighter pilot commander. This could also be good. Oh, we actually have a fleet destroyer and a superior air tactician. Okay, maybe we'll just take the accomplished naval flyer. Gendo Minoru. rebase this one to the carrier. Okay. And now we have an additional carrier. That's good. Can we form a carrier task force from the reserve fleet? Not really. Not yet. And other surface units will finish... A small destroyer flotilla will finish by the end of next month. Okay, so that's when we'll start out. I have to check, can I build... I can actually build medium armor regiments. But I don't think I'm gonna do that, because my medium armor is not... While it would be nice to have it, it's not that good. My armor technologies and doctrines are very strong at this point. So we'll mostly rely on infantry for the foreseeable future. Now here we have dropped off 4th Army. This will reattach to Army Group South Himalaya. Second Army will take the northeastern portion. We'll actually set up HQ in Mandalay. 4th Army will set up HQ in Un. And for 4th Army we have a core HQ which will be detached. And we can also deploy this additional core HQ. So 8 core will give up 21st Infantry Division. First and 4th will go to the 21st Corps. No. They will go to the 5th Corps. And 3rd and 24th in turn will go to the 21st Corps. And the 18th Corps will as well attach to 4th Army. And that means 21st Corps will redeploy to Prinbu. Okay, now that's a pretty good corps commander. I think we can work with this. Pretty strong commander. Skill 6 could command 4th Army. The question is, who do we make Corps Commander? Probably... I think he only recently took this division. Do we even have good division commanders? None that are that good. I will leave the hierarchy for the moment. So we'll continue the game. I'll play until the end of the month and then I'm gonna take a quick break. We have a fleet destroyer commander here. This is not an intensive, how do you say? It's not a critical area strategically right now. It is strategically important for these resources, but it's not... there isn't much enemy activity happening, so we can switch out this commander for a lower skilled one. Can actually split them and we'll have one on naval strikes. And we have convoy raiding activities again. And then for the first air wing, just pick a low skill commander. They will be on reserve duty for the time being, and they will be renamed to 4th Heavy Fighters first, 2nd. Third Heavy Fighters, maybe. So we have enemy convoy raiders active. We're patrolling the area. Northwest Pacific Anti-Submarine Squadron, and this is the we have 2 carrier task forces here as well. I think we need to relieve some of our older commanders. Although he is a spotter. But I think maybe it's better to get a younger commander in. We can send 2nd Carrier Task Force back to the home islands They can integrate the new light carrier. Chitose. And the other one in turn will continue patrolling. Oh. So we have attacks on our convoys here. We'll reform an anti-submarine warfare, or a submarine warfare squadron. Okay. Back to hunting submarines, obviously. And for some reason, we're not getting messages when we sink an enemy convoy, although they should show up in the log. I have a lot of messages switched off here. I have to change this. Okay, let's see how many pop-ups we get. We might have to change this again. I'll put a higher skill commander in charge of these naval bombers to take care of the convoy hunters. Maybe we should attach some more escorts. At least one to each convoy. But we probably don't have enough escorts for that. And some of these convoys have small rates, a small ratio of escorts to transports. Are my transports moving so slowly? There is a destroyer and a light cruiser force here. Reinforced the conqueror of Burma. Okay, that's probably because Mandalay fell. Now we lose the provinces, of course, where the enemy still has troops stationed. It would be nice to encircle everyone here, but I don't think this is possible. Not with, given how depleted. We'll try to seize as many of these provinces that we can. should forward deploy our forces. I'm still trying to understand the supply situation. So, the supply depot is in Rangoon now. Let's try to create a supply convoy. From Hiroshima to Rangoon. And another light carrier finished. We'll attach it to the reserve fleet in Sasebo. And we have 4 IC to spare. In my opinion, this should be used to raise additional infantry divisions. March 31st. There are plenty of carriers finishing. Okay. I'll send these fast units in immediately. And I'll have 20th Infantry Division support the attack. think we can mount a counter offensive here. Try to help the armor in Ilban. We're still being convoy raided off our coast, and we have an American fleet moving in the vicinity. So the convoy passes through here, but it doesn't ship any supplies. Makes no sense to me. Same thing with the convoy to Selat Banka, which is here. Okay, so we don't need a supply convoy. To here, which means we can cancel it. Kotobaru, Sasebo. It's not shipping rare materials. Why not? This should give me resources. Oh, I see. This was a doubled convoy. Miyazaki Manila isn't shipping anything, so we'll cancel it. North Palau will be cancelled. Hiroshima Rangoon isn't shipping anything. I'll cancel it again. Oh, finally the number of spies is rising in our home territory. It seems that the counter convoy activity has shifted further west. We'll soon upgrade this carrier task force, reinforce it with an additional light carrier, and we'll go back on patrol immediately. And now we're running really low on metal. But the British and the Indian forces are pulling back, but I don't think we can cut them off. We just don't have the forces and we're not fast enough. Maybe we can try to slow them down. But to be honest, I doubt it. Oh, and we're running low on supplies as well. Wonder how much supplies we're still sitting on in Vladivostok. Okay, now we're down to 35. Now the supply depot is Rangoon, really? Doesn't make sense at all. I think we should have a supply convoy to Dalian. That's maybe more sensible. What does that mean if the supply depot is Rangoon? But there is nothing. Where did the 97,000 units of supply go to? What? We're being bombarded in Yokohama. Oh, that's Soviet naval bombers. We have interceptors here, actually. And we have interceptors here. No supplies in... I really don't understand the supply system. Let's run one to Rangoon as well. Although it didn't work last time, we'll try again. Okay, and second carrier task force will patrol the ocean just east of Japan. Hopefully we can put an end to the convoy warfare here. We have improved officer training. Giving us our unit cooperation and combat reinforcement chances. And that's now ahead of time. Let's quickly go through the technologies, check in on what's really important. Better airborne warfare equipment is important. In terms of armor, some better tanks would probably not hurt either. In terms of escorts, the anti-submarine warfare equipment could definitely use an upgrade. In terms of capitals, would be nice, but seems to be expensive now. We have a lot of carriers deployed. Our bombers could use an upgrade. Okay, these two negate each other in terms of air defense. This would improve transports and heavy bombers. Not the highest priority right now. Our fighters, I think, need some attention. Escort fighters would be good as well. In terms of industry, just encryption, computing machines and radar. The next level of radar, yeah, we need that. In terms of theory, no priorities right now. Tanks, not that important. Operational doctrines are up to date. And the naval doctrines look okay. Yeah, I think here we can... Yeah, here we should probably become more active again in terms of air doctrines. So we should probably invest in into our fighters. Or escort fighters. We need all three. We might as well start with this one. Let's see if we switch to total exploitation in the Netherlands, whether we can then send a convoy to pick up oil in Pontianak. And metal is becoming a real problem. Might have lost some metal trades. Pontianak is still not available. And fuel is low again, but I think it has to do with the shifting supply centers. Supply depot is Rangoon. I'll run some supply convoys, but I doubt it's going to do much. Okay, but now we're shipping. Okay, we're shipping fuel and supplies to Rangoon. So at least that works. Tenth and 13th Division have made it into former Soviet Russia, and the pocket is closing. The enemies are exhausted. Because we're out of metal, I think our IC fell. So I have metal on my Hokkaido, but I don't know. $74.67 is produced in home territory. I assume I don't have to ship this over. All of these provinces are unreachable. Made it across the river. Ideally, we would be able to cut off the enemy here. Although, not really. They will be able to escape through here. They might be in supply problems as well, since they lost Mandalay. So maybe that's what's going on. This conglomerate, I don't understand either why everyone is sending units across the map, but there is no coordination at all. But it would probably be even worse if I hadn't set allied objectives. Probably also send a supply convoy to Tetuque. It can only help. Oh, it's right here. So overall, those are pretty elite forces that we have deployed in the south, or in the Burmese theater. this pocket comes to a successful conclusion. Just west of Khabarovsk. Meanwhile, the counteroffensive stopped the attack on the light armor, but we're not really making progress, so I think we might as well cancel. We'll cancel the attack here. It doesn't really show up here, but I think we're experiencing a severe penalty because we ran out of steel. We're down from 182 IC to 136. So we're being bombarded in Mandalay. I'm going to use the heavy fighters as interceptors. And I'll use the tactical bombers for interdiction. Yeah, but it doesn't look like we can cut anyone off. We can just go on the offensive. That's pretty much all we can do. They're running. I don't think we're going to catch up with them, but Burma fell. So we'll try to establish a new front line somewhere. Probably here in this river delta here, just east of the of Chittagong, today's capital of Bangladesh. What's interesting is that the attacks on our convoys in the Western Pacific have died down again. Somewhat, maybe. Seems like they're shifting south now. Tactical bombers are back. Where are they flying from? My transports are out of supply, so I'm going to rebase for the time being. Wait, we found another fleet. What is it? Is it a light cruiser? It's probably a light cruiser. The operational doctrine for 1943 is going... and now we have to select, to make a choice between infantry and mechanized infantry, basically. It's either a mechanized wave or a human wave. The continuation of the human wave concept. I think we'll stick to infantry. The Great War is raging on, demanding more and more resources. We need to mobilize our economy in order to produce enough war material. War is hell. Gain 6 in unity, lose 10 in dissent. Nice. Will this put us above 90%? Brilliant. This will give us better organization regain rate, but it doesn't fix the problems that we have in the supply system. Wait, so the British are here with 4 carrier air groups. That's a major force that they have deployed here. We will send 5th Fleet and 3rd carrier task forces. We'll set both heavy fighters to aggressively fight the enemy air groups. They inflict a lot of damage on my fleet. One of my transport flotillas might go down. Hopefully they make it to port without losing any Marines. Wait, okay, so we can improve our laws. Total economic mobilization. Plus 50% in IC. Money is not a problem. More war exhaustion. Okay, what else? Higher extended draft. I don't think we need the extended draft right now. No, definitely. We don't want that. And total economic mobilization plus 50% in IC would be good. So yeah, let's get it. My fleet needs to run. They need to make it into port. Okay, and then we have the following effects. We're now united, which gives us better organization regain, more party support. That's great. We have less monthly war exhaustion, less consumer goods. Yeah, I think overall this works well. Now we have to get a grip on metal supply and fuel supply. It even looks like my fleet will make it back into port. As soon as this fleet reaches port, this will be the end of the stream. I might come back after some dinner. Let's check in on the supply situation again. We're now supplying Rangoon. So hopefully the supply situation here will improve. And now we have rare material storing problems again. Okay. It's interesting. So we have enough rare materials, but we're running low on steel and oil to some extent. Yeah, we can't really create an encirclement here. We don't have the offensive power. Okay, and we find an enemy submarine flotilla. An American one this time, which seems to be sinking as we speak. Yes. Great. Oh, and we have a large carrier task force. sitting around here. Let's have it rebase to truck. For the moment. And we'll have it scout the area between Midway and Wake Island. The submarine flotilla that is. Okay, now we're being attacked here. Oh, someone sank a convoy here. We can patrol the area with a small fleet, no problem. Finally, our counter-espionage efforts are improving. Showing some success here. And the IC bonus kicks in. So it seems that somewhere in our stores we found iron and steel, and the improved laws show an effect as well. That's pretty good. First things first, we don't really need the additional IC now. I'll cancel these two. We're going to need escorts. We'll probably need naval units. For the various carrier task forces. Three light cruisers are currently in production. But that's It's only about a third of what we need. I just hope that our techs are somewhat up to date. Yeah, they're okay-ish. The engines are quite advanced. The design principle is up to date. And the main armament is even ahead of time. Just the armor is not... It's not perfect, but it'll do. We can also advance to a great industrial power, which gives us 2 more in leadership. Now we need to liberate the rest of Burma, of course. And then we have to prepare for the spring offensive against the Soviet Union. We have to solidify our position in the Dutch East Indies, and we have to see what we can do about the United States Navy. Okay, the steel production is bouncing back. That's good. We'll soon develop the next level of radar, improving our targeting for our medium bombers, naval bombers, and jet bombers. And eventually the additional leadership should kick in. I think it went into officers directly. But what I want to do instead is I want to start some new research projects instead. I think we want the next level of radar. And escort fighters. better anti-submarine warfare equipment. Yeah, I think this is probably a safe choice. Wait, the Battle of HQs? British 3rd Corps fighting against 5th Japanese Corps. Special. Our fleets will make it into port. They will have to repair, of course. And it seems that our HQ won against the British HQ here. Wait, isn't there? Oh, I see. We have a problem here. The British want to cut us off, so we'll have to counterattack. So 3rd Division has enough time to move in and keep the corridor open. Once 8th Corps is in position in Mandalay and Maimio, will attack towards Kata. Okay, and here on the other side of this river, 16th Infantry Division is defending. Our Machucan allies here have been attacked by the Soviets and are being driven southeast. Japanese 13th and 10th Infantry Divisions are counterattacking, however, and take possession of Bureya again. And the pocket northwest of Khabarovsk is pretty much concluded. And we are wasting IC somewhere. I don't think we'll reassign it, because we'll have needs in terms of upgrades and reinforcements. Transport fleet is taking forever to rebase, but it seems to be happening eventually. We'll rebase the carrier task force to Singapore, as well as the battle fleet. And then we'll launch the invasion here of the remaining Dutch port on Borneo differently at some other point. The Taiwanese are garrisoning their important ports and cities. That's good. We have very few occupation forces, and we also don't have full control of all of the islands. We're sinking the odd Australian convoy. We'll soon have, actually in about a month, we'll have 3 infantry divisions. One of which will be probably be deployed in Burma. And 2 are infantry divisions without support regiments. They will be on garrison duty in Southeast Asia, securing some of the important ports. Okay, and I think with this fleet finally making it into port, saving 3rd Marine Infantry Division, we can conclude this stream for today. I want to thank everybody who stopped by. Take good care, and I'll see you soon.